Good morning, Manitoba. I am Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour and every Saturday morning from 8 to 9. Thanks for tuning in. I want to give you an update on Peak of the Market's TV commercial auditions. As I've mentioned before, 312 children auditioned with me at the end of May for their chance to be in a TV commercial. The online voting process completed on Monday, and we have the 4 winners, which were just announced this week. I want to congratulate Holly, Kaylee, Connor, and Zoe, who will all be in Peak of the Market TV commercials, and we're filming those out in Portage La Prairie area next week. They will each receive $300 for their family and $300 for the charity of their choice for starring in our commercials. Now, this is a bit of something for their family, but we also want to pay it forward so they get to choose the charity that they want the other $300 to go to. So congratulations again to Holly, Kaylee, Connor, and Zoe. I look forward to working with all of you. My guest this morning is Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center. Good morning, Deborah.
Hi, Larry. How are you this morning?
I'm great. It's a great week.
I know. It was just a fabulous week. I was busy and had some holidays a week or so ago and just settling back into life at the mall.
First, I want to thank you before we get to talk about the shopping center for allowing us to have the auditions at Center Court at Polo Park May 31st on a Saturday. It was an amazing day.
It was awesome. We didn't know what to expect because I've heard we might have had 10 children. We might have had 1,000 children, and everybody was so excited. The kids were just like jumping up and down in line. We saw moms that were thrilled. So it was a fun day. And I just look at them as little, prospective shoppers down the road too. So anytime, you're more than welcome to come to Polo Park.
Well, and it was amazing because if you know Polo Park, it's a 2-floor mall right in Center Court. People are watching upstairs. But the mall opens at 7:30 in the morning. And so we got there at 7:30, not the stores, but the actual doors of the mall, as you know. And there was like 10 kids at 7:30 in line waiting
wow, that shows enthusiasm.
So we were originally scheduled to start at 9:30, but we started about 9 by the time all the students from Tech Voc got set up a half hour early, which is great. But we had a lineup from Center Court right up to Hudson Bay there.
I know. Well, I came through that day because I wanted to see what was happening, and the line just kept going and going and going. And my biggest concern was not everybody would get through because I thought, you've got so many enthusiastic kids, and they were all like hair combed, and it was like they were lining up for a Santa almost. They were all ready to go, and I thought, please let them all get through. So I know that you did, and our team had some fun watching the interviews that day. So
yeah, and some people waited up to 3 hours in the morning,
really?
which the patience was incredible. But by lunchtime, we were caught up, and we went through pretty quick. But the enthusiasm of the kids and the parents was great. They all knew their lines better than I did. And they enjoyed talking to the Carrot Mike.
Yep.
But I have to say that, the security and your marketing staff, everybody was great to work with, but also the tenants that you have in the mall. Some of them came out and gave free teas to some of them and gave out some samples while they were waiting in line. So
I didn't hear all that, but I know quite often we've got some that really take advantage of those situations. And, you mentioned David's Tea. They will always come out with anything. Our tenants are really good at getting involved in any of the promotions that we have. Because, again, these people are here every day, and maybe they didn't shop that day because they were waiting with their little ones, but they're going to come back and remember. And it is a family mall, and a lot of people have lots of great experiences there. And I know you had, 312 little ones had an awesome experience that day. So we were glad to be involved with you.
Well, and the interesting thing is when the kids sat in the chair beside me and they got mic'd up because we put a lapel mic on every child, and we had to get them talk a little bit to set the mic volume. So I'd always say, you're here to do something else in the mall or whatever. And with very few exceptions, they all said, well, we weren't planning to come to the mall today, but we did. And I get to go to get popcorn afterwards. We're going to the food court. I'm getting a new outfit. I would say probably with the kids and their parents, probably 1,000 people there that day. And some of them went to the mall anyway, probably. But some probably came to the mall because of it.
Some of those moms are probably going, that's a pretty long list, little one, but get your audition done and we'll see what we can do. So, but no, it was a great event. And as I say, we're glad to have Peak of the Market there on the Saturday.
And maybe in a couple of years we'll do it again.
No problem.
We'll ask if you want to do it again. Yeah?
I know. It'll be great. Yeah, you're more than welcome.
No, we really appreciate it. Everybody was so cooperative, and it was a great day.
We love days like that too. It kind of breaks our pattern a little bit, the regular just, wandering around. So I know my security officers are always ready to get involved and help. So anytime, you're more than welcome on that.
And you're right, because it's the first time we did it. It could have been 10 children.
Well, we had no idea. And of course, I've seen this happen before, and it's like, oh my gosh, how many participants are we going to have? Because you don't know. I mean, half of the city could have turned up. So I think it was a nice manageable number. You were able to get, 4 fab. I'm sure all of the kids were great. I would not want to be involved in that decision. But as I say, we saw them having lots of fun. And I did go and check online to see who your 4 finalists were, and they're just great kids. I know they're going to do really well for you.
And you're absolutely right. There was 312 kids, as we said. We had 5 media judges narrow it down to 12 so people could vote for the last 3 or 4 weeks to get it down to the final 4. But, out of that 312, almost any of them could have done it.
Anybody, yes.
Really fortunate.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like trying to pick, the winners at the Olympics or the Oscars or something. I would not want that job. So, but you did it nice. You had 4 of them. So.
And if you're interested in seeing the auditions, that's at peakmarket.com. The final 4 are there. You can watch their auditions. And sometime in October, beginning of October, the commercials will be on the air so people can watch the actual commercials of us in the field next week.
So where you'll be on TV or are you online?
We'll be online. We'll be on our YouTube channel. We'll be on our website. But yeah, it'll be on a few of the television stations as well.
Oh, it's great. Well, I remember seeing the ones from last year, so I'm sure it'll be very similar. And the kids last year had a lot of fun, so I'm sure that you've got 4 that are going to have an awesome time again.
I'm hoping that everybody has a good time. I'm hoping the weather stays with us. We've been very fortunate, so hopefully it all comes
One
together.
question, though. Does anybody ever want to take a bite out of that carrot when you hand it to them?
Absolutely.
Because they want to eat their veggies.
They want to eat their veggies. Some of the kids that were auditioning wanted to do that as part of it, but I said, well, this has been in my hand for the last 4 hours. Food safety issues, you may not want.
I know, but I just wonder if one of those kids, is going to take a big chomp off the end of that carrot.
We'll be right back with Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center, after we take this break for your 680 CJOB weather update. Welcome back to Food and Friends. We have many Manitoba-grown vegetables that are being harvested as we speak, and they're available at your local store. So here's a quick update. Manitoba-grown beets, broccoli, kale, leeks, cucumbers, cauliflower, zucchini, red, green, and Savoy cabbage, carrots, cucumbers, and jalapeno peppers are all being harvested and at your local store. So I'm going to go through that one more time because this is an exciting time of year. We got beets, broccoli, kale, leeks, cucumbers, cauliflower, zucchini, green, red, and Savoy cabbage, carrots, which is always exciting. That's a big crop for us, cucumbers, and jalapeno peppers now at your store. And next week, by the end of next week, Peak of the Market pickling onions, green peppers, corn, and rutabagas will start coming in as well. So when you visit your local store, please support locally grown products. And as always, if it says Peak of the Market on the label, you are guaranteed it's grown right here in Manitoba. We're back with Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center. And that's a lot of vegetables I rhymed off, wasn't it?
That is. I just need a bottle of salad dressing and my dinner's ready.
You're all set to go, right?
It sounds awesome.
It's just an exciting time. At the beginning of the season, we're saying, okay, we got asparagus. That's a short season, but now we're getting into that everything coming off. We're only a couple weeks from new potatoes.
Yeah, well, I think I'm going to make a big salad when I go home tonight. So, and I have that most nights. So, but I'm just going to have a few more ingredients because you've told me everything that's ready to go at the Peak of the Market time.
Perfect. So let's talk about the mall. So Polo Park Shopping Center has been around a long time.
Oh, over 50 years now.
Over 50 years.
Yes.
Now, if you haven't been to the mall, it doesn't look 50 years old by any stretch. It's gone through a few renovations over the years.
Yeah, we call them little facelifts, that we all would like to have at 50 years old. But it's seen a lot of, transition over time. I didn't grow up in Winnipeg, so I only know it as sort of we see it for the last, 25 years. But I guess at one time it was an outdoor strip center or, a plaza at one time, if we want to use that, with anchor stores of, grocery stores, so which would have been good for Peak of the Market that time. But it's gone through a lot of changes, the big one being, of course, 1985 when we put the second level on.
Right, I remember that.
I wish I'd been here to see it because I look at the photographs and it's just unbelievable what the engineers did. I have such a high level of respect for those guys because how do you put a second level on a mall and the mall still stands? You know where to put everything. You know where to pour the concrete. We actually had to drill right down through the basement to, build all the pillars up to support that second level. And they basically popped the second level on the first level. There's a crawl space of about 3 feet between the 2 levels. There's still old HVAC units up there, debris, I think, from the renovation. So it's got quite an interesting story. And, lots of, little tunnels and spaces and basements that no one even knows are there. There's a whole set of tunnels that runs through the basement. So quite interesting behind the scenes, but I think most people are just interested to see the stores that are, out in the public, and lots of changes. And we're undergoing, we did another renovation, I think in 2007. We updated the mall, and we're currently undertaking right now probably the biggest project we've seen since 1985. We had the ability, we took that back, that Zeller store,
Right.
and we're adding, and everyone sort of doesn't believe me. They're going, where are you putting all those stores? But excuse me, we're adding a total of about 23 stores, and most of them will be on the upper level, with the exception of H&M that'll be on the main level. And
23?
About 23
Wow.
stores. Yeah, 17 are going to open this year, and we've got 6 that are going to open in 2015. They just weren't quite ready to join the Winnipeg market yet, but they're strong enough retailers that we want to hold space for them.
Oh, wow.
And just this past week when I got back from holidays, of course, the first thing was looking at my emails going, forget it. I want to go through that renovation space. So it was quite a change, and I emailed a few friends during the week, and I said, hard to believe that this is the old Zellers, because it does just look like an extension of the mall. We've got probably about a quarter, maybe almost half the tenants are in there now, starting the renovations. You're starting to see drywall go up. You're starting to see flooring go down. We were in Anthropology, and they're putting this beautiful barn board floor down. I just can't wait to see it completed. So it's going to be very spectacular when it's all done. So we're excited, busy. I said we're on the slippery slope now because we've got a date we've got to meet, and our contractors are working flat out. A lot of them are doing more than one stores for our retailers. I said, don't you guys get those plans mixed up and get the right name on the right store. But it's, again, just an engineering feat what they've done in there. And the skylights, they've added, 300 feet of skylights. One of them in the wintertime, and somebody forgot that it was Manitoba and snowing, and somebody forgot to seal the window. We had a big flood one day. So there's lots of those stories, too. There's always the downside of the wonderful exterior, the wonderful presentation that you see in the mall.
Well, it's about 1.2 million square feet, the mall, something like that?
We're 1.2 million. We're probably the top 10 biggest malls in Canada, and one of the bigger ones in Western Canada. So, yeah, it just keeps getting better, but we're not really expanding the size of what we call the footprint. We're just working with space that we had come up inside, and we've wanted to do that for a lot of years.
But if you think about it, I moved here the first time in 1984, and it was just when the second floor was going on in 85. So I saw some of that, right?
Yes.
And you think back to it was a strip mall with outdoors, right?
Yep.
At that time, way before in the 60s, I think, whatever it was, 59, 60.
Opened in late 50s.
So you think about where it's come from, and then you think, okay, now there's an empty Safeway store because they moved across the street many years ago, in the Zeller store, and how can you make that all work? But what I've seen, obviously the Safeway's long filled, but it's amazing what can be done.
Well, it is, because once they took everything out of that premise, I was shocked at the size of it, because it was always broken down with racks and fitting rooms and things like that. So it really was a big space. So it's nice to start with that blank canvas.
We'll be right back after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. It's time for our recipe segment called Now We're Cooking. Now, you don't need to write this recipe down, as it is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in today's Winnipeg Sun. So all the information is available at our website or today's Winnipeg Sun. Today's recipe is pea soup. Pea soup. And here's what you need for the recipe. 4 tablespoons of butter, or you could use margarine. 1 small onion, finely chopped. 4 cups of fresh peas. 2.5 cups of vegetable or chicken stock. And 2.5 cups of milk, and salt and pepper to taste. In a large saucepan, heat the butter and gently saute the onions until just softened. Then stir in the peas. Add the stock and bring to a boil. Cover and simmer gently for about 30 minutes or until the peas are tender. Pour the soup into a blender or a food processor, then add the milk and puree until smooth. Return the soup to the saucepan and reheat gently, and then season with salt and pepper to taste. And this recipe serves 4. Again, this recipe, pea soup, is today's recipe of the day at peakmarket.com and in the Winnipeg Sun. And all the recipes on our website or in the newspaper have both metric and imperial measurements. We also have over 4,000 recipes at peakmarket.com, and you can even sign up to receive recipes by email. If you'd like to do that, simply go to our website, click on free recipe emails, and you can sign up to receive them on a daily to weekly basis. And it's the system will just simply ask for your email address and the province, and then how often you want to receive the recipes. And you can unsubscribe at any time. So to join our recipe club, please visit peakmarket.com. We'll be right back with Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center, after we take this break for your 680 CJOB News, Sports, and Weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Food and Friends Radio is now on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on MyToba.ca later this weekend. So if you want to see the TV version of this show or previous radio shows, please visit MyToba.ca. Thanks to 680 CJOB's Nicole, who produces our show, and Chad, who operates the camera, as well as the teachers of the Broadcasting and Media Arts program at TechVoc High School. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at soundcloud.com and at the iTunes store. So please do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at MyToba.ca or soundcloud.com or iTunes, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. It's very important for me to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please make sure you tune in to 680 CJOB or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center. So the mall has been around since 1955. 55 years old, you said earlier in the last half hour?
Well, it's actually 1959 we opened.
1959,
so
okay.
Do the math real quick. What is that now, 55 years?
55 years.
Yes,
you are
ahead of me.
You are correct, 55 years.
It's too early.
Started out as an open-air mall with 40 stores, a bowling alley, I read, 2 grocery stores. Polo Park racing track was around here somewhere.
That's the land that we're built on, actually. It was a little racetrack way before us. So, yeah, so there's quite a history there, and we're opening the next chapter of the history book, I guess, when we finish our Zellers renovation this fall.
So let's talk about the new chapter, and we know what's in the mall today, and H&M has announced they're opening as soon, I guess, right?
They're opening September 10th, and I had known that for a while. I keep such great secrets, everyone. We've known for a while, but September 10th they will open, so they'll actually open a little bit ahead of the rest of the shopping center. But that's nice because it's on the main level, so it's not, in the area, the Zellers area that we're working on right now. But they're going to open September 10th, and it will be a crazy busy day. I know that already.
Yeah. We've been in that store in many places in other countries, but
it's been on everybody's top of the list for years now to come to Winnipeg. So we're glad that we were able to finally pull enough space together for them. It's a large store. It'll be about 20,000 square feet.
So here's a useless fact for you. Many years ago, we were in Germany, Berlin, actually, for a vegetable conference. Went into our first H&M there.
Oh,
that was a long time ago.
That's where I know they're originally from Europe, and it's very German gentlemen, but don't quote me on where they started. But Swedish, pardon me. They were started in Sweden.
Oh, okay.
So yes, Swedish.
So what other stores can we look forward to that you can talk about at least?
Well, I think next to H&M, we've got Anthropology and Urban Behavior. Urban Outfitters, my apologies. Those are two that, again, everybody is asking for. But I think the one that's going to hold everybody's heart near and dear is the Disney store. We're so excited to bring them back to Winnipeg. As you know, they were here years ago. They left. We've been trying to pull space together for a lot of years. We've got this huge list, but we just never have any vacant space. So Disney will be joining us as well. We've got Pandora. It'll be their second location. We've got 9 West Shoes. So I know all the ladies out there.
Shelley knows about that. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Shelley's going to love me. And I think there's a lot of husbands going, oh my gosh, I've got to find more room in the closet for my wife's shoes. So we've got 9 West Shoes. We have Tivana is going to be joining us as well. We've got Bench. We've got Journey. So the list goes on. Mex will be relocating. Again, they're just in a temporary space with us. So they'll be in the new section as well. Thomas Sabo Jewelry, their first location. So a lot of the ones that we're bringing, it's their first foray into the Winnipeg market, which we're happy to bring them in. But, on a bigger perspective, it's exciting to see that these big retailers have confidence in the Winnipeg market.
Absolutely.
They want to be here. They see that we've got the buying power. We see their economy's good. So, other than, oh, great, they're going to be in my mall, I'm very proud to present them, it really shows that Winnipeg is very strong in the retail market. So, and I mean, with online shopping and travel, people already know what these stores are. There's a pent-up demand. I mean, as I say, H&M, people have been asking me for years, when are they going to come in? It was the same thing before we introduced, Forever 21, Apple, Banana Republic, the list goes on. So we're just glad that we're able to bring all these to Winnipeg. So, for myself, I can't wait to shop at most of them. So all of them.
Oh, man. And I think your mall, Polo Park, is one of the best malls between Toronto and Calgary. I mean, as far as number of stores, sales per square footage. I don't know how you measure these things, but it is kind of known to be, between Calgary and Toronto, one of the best malls, right?
It is, yeah. We've got that big gap, and we're right in the middle of it. And, we've got some great competition in the city, and each mall has something very different to offer. But, again, being the biggest one, we're able to draw those first-to-market retailers. A lot of the American retailers, we've got 4 or 5 that we got 3 that we're going to introduce in 2015 that have come up from the States. They're just not quite ready to enter the Winnipeg market now, but Cadillac Fairview is working with these retailers, and this company's probably going to open 15 to 20 stores with us across Canada. So I said I'll wait, because again, it's going to be those great announcements when we can make them that again, everyone's going to be thrilled that we've brought those to Polo Park.
So you can't announce them now?
No, I can't.
You'll have to have you back next year to do that?
Yes, have me back about a year from now, and I can share
a whole year
with you.
Why
I'll
do we
come
have to
back
wait?
sooner, whenever. I'm always available. But no, we've got 3 other ones, and we've got some other ones opening. One is opening in February, a big 9,000 square foot store, but can't quite name that one yet.
Okay.
So yeah, there's always something happening.
Can you give us the initials or anything? Or
no, I can't.
What was it? Sell?
No,
nothing at all. Okay,
I
that's
told
fair.
you before.
Fair.
I keep
That's fair.
really good secrets.
You do.
Larry.
Yeah.
I'm sworn to secrecy on a lot of these deals, which is tough to do, because even my friends are like, "Tell me who's coming. You can tell me." It's like, no, I can't. So I keep a lot of secrets, but no, worth the wait for everybody who's coming in this fall. And we're opening. Most of them are opening October 1st. As I said, H&M is going to open a little bit earlier than that, and I think Anthropologie and Urban Outfitters are going to open a little bit later.
Also within the mall, you've had some stores relocate to new premises. Eddie Bauer, I think, moved not too long ago.
Well, because again, every time we want to create space, I've got to move somebody to create that space. So unless somebody leaves or downsizes, becomes smaller, I don't have the ability to do that. So we had a lease come up. They did not renew with us. We could move Eddie Bauer. We downsized Guess. We had Max leave for a while. Then they're now in a temporary premise. Garage, Dynamite. So it's always not so much do the deal, but you're working with so many people out ahead of time. And I always say it's like a jigsaw puzzle.
I was going to say that, yeah.
You've got to make room. And how do I do that? Because the jigsaw puzzle's done. I said it's like one of those old, I don't want to age myself, but those games you had when you were a kid and you had to slide all the numbers around, put them in order, and you had one vacant space, but you had to move everybody around to make it work. That's what it is at the mall, because you've got a space here and a space there. How do you combine those? Who wants to move? Fortunately, there's always someone who is looking to upsize, looking to downsize, to relocate. We do this with every project and every major retailer. When we brought Victoria's Secret in a year ago, again, there was about a 5-store move to pull together that amount of space, because it's I just don't have it. So that's why, again, too, I said we've got such a long list of people who want to be in the mall. I just can't accommodate them. Either we don't have the space or we're totally leased. So this Zeller's redevelopment really gave us that opportunity to bring a lot of the tenants in that everybody wanted to see.
We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please follow us on Twitter at Peak of the Market for recipes and Manitoba veggie crop updates. We have over 100,000 Twitter followers from around the world, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we are at Peak of the Market, or my Twitter account is at Larry McIntosh. We're back with Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center. So we've talked about the mall. We've talked about the exciting things that are happening. We've talked about the things that you won't tell us till next year, so we might as well just let that go. But outside the mall, you also have a space, right? I mean, is it Polo Park North it's called? Or
Well, we've got the old CKY building, which is now the Chorus, which we're sitting in this
yes.
morning. Yeah, so we took that one over, and we now manage this building. We also manage just to the north of here where Marshall's went. Marshall's and Bed Bath & Beyond and Mark's.
Right.
And an office space above. Western Financial combined all their offices in the city, and they're now with us. But yes, there's Polo Park North, which is the old stadium lands. We have to now call that the plaza at Polo.
Okay.
We still refer to them in our office as the stadium lands. But yes, we've got Target is opening this fall as well. So even one more to add to the excitement that we're going to have.
So that's part of your group as well?
We're in a partnership with Shindico.
Right, okay.
And we sort of co-own, co-manage. They'll actually do most of the heavy lifting on the building of the whole project, but we'll be involved with the leasing of that. So far the first tenant that we do have is Target, and they purchased that space, that chunk of land from us. So they're really sort of looking after their own property and they've got the very interesting, it's not underground parking, but it's below the building. The building's actually on the second level. So to get into it, you have to go up by escalator, which you can see on the outside of the building now. Kind of interesting. But it's all part of, under the Cadillac Fairview umbrella, but we won't be directly involved with that. Like I always say, they'll do a lot of the work. We'll get some investment back from that. So we've gone, again, upwards of about another 200,000 square feet that we can develop on that land. I just got back from holidays this past week. I see now they're starting to get the asphalt in. So it's really...
Yes, they painted the lines.
I know. It's like really starting to go. They just don't have a store open yet. But I know they had a big job fair there a couple of weeks ago. So that store is also going to bring some people to the area. And it'll be their first true build, where they started with a piece of land. All the other stores, as you know, they renovated the Zeller spaces. So this has really given Target the ability to build what they want. I think it's going to look very similar to what the layout is in a lot of the U.S. stores. So we're excited about that too. So again, not directly with us, but we are involved financially, and it's going to be great retail that goes on that site.
So on the holiday Monday, that Monday just passed, we had Sandy Schindelman from Shindico on the show.
Oh,
we had a special holiday day edition of Food and Friends. So he was talking about the Target and the parking underneath, and which is an unusual concept for the prairies. I mean, you see it in big cities, Toronto or something,
There's
but it's unusual
one
here.
in Toronto.
Is there?
Mentioned it, yes.
Okay. But there's all that land to develop.
Yes.
So I asked him the question about DSW Shoe Warehouse.
Oh.
DSW out of the States. And there's a rumor going around town that they're looking at a location here.
Well, we're trying to bring different retail in there. I mean, we could fill it with the regular retail that you see in the power centers now. Maybe a Reitman's, Payless shoes, some more, food uses. But my goal is to bring something a little bit different to the market. DSW would be a great fit because, again, all those retailers that come of that type, that caliber of retail, they want to be in an area that's really well developed, successful, well maintained. So DSW, I personally go and talk them into coming up here. That would be a great addition. But we're really trying to bring a little bit different level retail in there. So it's going to take a bit of work to convince some people. A lot of people have said to me, Saks off Fifth. Who's the other one? Nordstrom Rack. I mean, that's who I would like to see.
Those are great
whether
too.
They're ready to enter the market. But again, it's a perfect area for them because it's established. There's lots of retail around it, great transportation, easy access from, pretty well all over town. So they like to go in those retail nodes where there's already a really strong customer base. So it would be a perfect fit. So no pun intended there.
So on my way driving here this morning, pretty much every road's under construction in this area now.
Oh,
Have you noticed?
Yes, I have. Yes, I've been caught in that a couple of times on the way to work.
So that's wonderful for the future because certainly St. James and many of these streets needed renovations, no question about it. But and it's going to be great when it's all done. But that must create a bit of havoc for you in the short term, or no?
It's very frustrating because I can't control it. And everyone that knows me knows I like to have everything totally under control. And I can't do anything about it. And we get why is the street in front of your stores, your mall, ripped up? I couldn't get there today. There's too much traffic. So again, I get those calls every Monday morning. Someone tried to get her on a Saturday, and it's difficult and heartbreaking because I can't fix it. So I just keep telling people to focus on the future. We know when we bought the stadium lands, Cadillac Fairview, a lot of that money was dedicated to fixing the roads in the area. So I think now, again, we talked about that for a year or two, but that was the agreement. We paid the city. The city said, well, we're going to take that money and put it back into the infrastructure. So I know they've now pretty well completed that project that was on Ness leading into the mall because that was broken up all last winter, which was frustrating during the holiday season. And now on St. James, again, it started. So I think if people can really just focus on the long term, I know they did some great improvements on the roads up by Superstore there a few years ago. It's smooth sailing. There's no potholes. It's beautiful. But again, we all just had to kind of, hold our breath and get through that. So I think once we get through it, it's going to be great. And it's just unfortunate they couldn't have had it done for this fall with all of our new stores opening. But, that's the city, again, something that I can't control.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Not a thing. So we work with it. We try and manage it the best we can. It's not directly in front of Polo. It's just a little bit to the north, more where that Target land is. So directly in front of Polo, full access. Everything's great.
And it's great access off Portage Avenue, right? That's easy. There's no construction over there right now. So
we finished all that work. There's nothing happening on Portage. I think we lived through that a couple of years ago. So, it's just frustrating. But again, I think we all have to, the old term, short-term pain for a long-term gain. It's going to be fabulous when it's all done. Lots of new turning lanes and.
Yeah, it is going to be. It's overdue.
Yes.
It's a bit of a pain, but it's
is.
well worthwhile going through this. It's going to be great.
And a true shopper will still get through all that traffic and not even worry about it. So
Yes, we will. We'll be right back with Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center, after we take this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday when my guest will be Danielle Stott, partner and owner at Makata Custom Jewelry Design Studio. Danielle will tell us how easy it is to have a custom piece of jewelry made for yourself or someone else. My guest today has been Deborah Green, General Manager of Polo Park Shopping Center. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for asking me to join you for your show.
Well, you have so many exciting. Every time we have you on the show, and it's only been twice now, but every time you got so many things to announce: new stores, renovations. You're always renovating.
There's never a dull moment over there. When one thing gets done, we say, "Oh, now we can relax." No, we can't. This is the next project coming along. But it's great. 2 days are never the same, and it's a lot of fun. And when you see people's faces and what's new and who's coming in, and everybody has to shop. You got to buy something, and even if your wife buys all your stuff, you've got to go in the mall every now and then. So, and again, it's not just shopping; it's a community center. You're coming in to have a coffee. You go there with your kids. It's always, I got my first bike at the mall. I got my first shoes. So it's really a community center as well, and that's really what we try to create.
Oh, thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, everybody, and please don't forget to eat your veggies.